Hi Pierre, it's Aussie Villain. I'm good, mate, I'm good. Yeah, I can still smell the champagne from the Bahrain podium. You're right, mate, it is a good sticky. Listen, mate, I'm sending over an updated contract for you to sign, please. It just basically says that you're the designated number 2 driver this season. What do you mean you're not signing it? Hey guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Aussie Villain Racing. It is round 2 in China of our 4th season today, and after a good win, a lucky win maybe, in Bahrain, well, we are leading the championship and Gasly is trailing behind, which is excellent, isn't it? Now, there's a little bit it looks like we've got to do here before we get to the race, so we've got a personnel department event, so let's have a look and see what this is. Alright, so it looks like we've got a social media star that wants to interview me. Now, we can do team acclaim if we agree, or driver, second driver, racecraft plus 10. I don't want to be on social media. I can't decline it. Why can't I decline it? I have to accept? Why do I have to accept?
Thanks for handling that.
Alright, well, I guess we're doing an interview with a social media star then. Alright, let's have a look at these activities. I always clicked the wrong friggin' thing. So we've got basically 2 days. Second driver performance review. Gasly, should you see why you lost to me? Podium party. That's going to get everybody's spirits up. So let's do that. And then we can do... Gasly can go and think about what he's done. So that is that. Now let's have a look at facilities. And of course, we spent a lot of money last episode upgrading a bunch of things. We haven't got those. We've got just under 10 million, so we don't yet have enough to get Gasly back. So we've got to watch out for that. You can see the vehicle comparison there that, well, we are still just about top. We don't have any developments coming. I don't think we can get anything more until we do get those upgrades in the factory. It looks as though a few teams have taken steps forward. We and Mercedes look like we've stayed roughly where we were. The vehicle, everything is still in relatively good condition, considering it's only done one race. It would possibly want to be. The gearbox is fine, 10% wear, that's absolutely fine. The corporate side of things, we'll get 2,000 acclaim. We're not yet in a position to get that 4th sponsor unlocked. We have 23 team acclaim, and we need to get to level 25 before we can unlock that, and then that will be more money, and then maybe we can look to spend a little bit more. Gasly, 99 rated. That is just a little bit scary, isn't it? The driver market we can see there, but nothing has changed too much. Finances, we haven't really spent anything, and so we're just rebuilding up. We had 65 million pounds at one point, or dollars. Look at that. The standings, drink it in. It is Aussie Villain. It probably won't happen again after this race, but I'm top of the standings, ahead of Pierre. No, ahead of Pierre, yes, but ahead of Perez even, and Ricciardo. And the Constructors' Championship, well, we are top, ahead of Red Bull, and then it's McLaren, Ferrari, AlphaTauri. Mercedes, almost shockingly, were pointless in Bahrain. So there's everybody's points or finishes for the year. It's obviously in order at this point. Trophies, well, there we go. We've got a win. Now, of course, last year we did China for the first time and came 9th. We hadn't done China before that, had we? No. So that is what we've got to look forward to. The rivalry with Mr. Ricciardo got off to a good start. Let's see if we can keep that going. And the driver details, well, you can see everything there. 4 wins I've got now, which is a little bit... I don't know if that's surprising or disappointing. Does it say how many races we've done there anywhere? I don't think it does it? Anyway, 300 points, 10 average finish of 10th, average grid start of 12th, 8 podium finishes as well. So it's all looking good, isn't it? Only 2 pole positions, and I thought I was a better qualifier than racer. Jokes on me, I suppose, there, isn't it? So let's sim ahead. With just the 2 days, it looks as though everything is going to get done in terms of the factory upgrades. So we'll look at that more next episode when we have a chance to maybe spend some money. But for now, let's head off to Shanghai. Alright, so the track map of the Shanghai track, if you're unfamiliar with it, and the weather forecast, oh dear. So we have a 50-50 chance of rain in qualifying, but the end of the race, basically 90%. It's going to rain at the end of the race. Now, given that the length of the race distance, I wonder if the go here might be start on a hard tyre and only have to stop once if it's that close to the end of the race, or maybe start on the medium. It might be a race where we'll see how we go in free practice. It might be a race where in Q2 you either get through on the medium or you don't get through, and that might actually be a decent thing. Anyway, that's going to give me something to think about. I will go do free practice, and I will see you for qualifying. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do there. Alright, so free practice is done. Gasly, as you would imagine, is dominating. I have been in the top 10 once, and that was 10th in FP2. I am really, really struggling around here. Now, I don't use the battery power in free practice unless I sort of have to meet a target time. So there might be a little bit of time for me to find there, but to be honest, I'm not even sure I'm going to have a choice to make on, you know, what tyres I start on, because I think I'm going to be out in Q2. But let's get through Q1 first. Alright, we are coming around for our first attempt at Q1. Now, one thing that I have figured out in free practice is that the tyres do not last long around here. Oh, on the curb. Oh, the never-ending corner. So, there is not really going to be an option of trying to make the softs last to get to the rain in the race. It's the softs, you know, 5 laps. And they are very much, a little bit early on the brakes there, they are very much just done. They're, you know, they're sort of gone yellow and on the display thing, and there's not much life left in them. They're certainly not getting any better. So, yeah, as I said before, it might be a race even to start on the hard tyre, which will hurt us at the front end of the race, but if it does save us a pit stop. But of course, the other side of that is, I mean, how late in the race is the rain going to show up? And is it going to be something that you can drive on slicks? And the biggest mistake you can get into in a race is just trying to predict the weather, isn't it? You're better off sometimes just being on the right tyres for the time and deal with anything that changes when it changes. So I'm very much torn as to what we should be doing. And like I said, we've got to get into Q2 before we worry about that. I may have damaged the floor there. That is P5. I mean, it should be enough. It should be enough. Alright, so it was enough, but as you can see, P13. Now, the Red Bulls were fast in free practice. They look as though they've taken a big step forward here. Myself, now Ricciardo's the on-track rival, of course. Maybe we are struggling ever so slightly compared to the rest of those top teams. In terms of the drivers knocked out, it's more or less who you would expect it to be. So let's go to Q2 and see if we can get through. I guess we're going to make a decision. We're not getting through on the medium tyre, are we? There's just no way. Alright, so here we go, coming around to start our first attempt at Q2. You'll notice we are on the softs. I figure, let's not try and predict the weather. It's supposed to come late in the race. It might not ever get to the point where we need wet tyres. So I'm not going to play that game. We're just going to... I hate this corner so much. It's just so stupid and slow, and it feels like it's taking forever, but in reality, it's probably no slower than anybody else's. Well, a little bit slower, probably, because it's me, but probably not as bad as it feels. Alright, George Russell with a 131.8. I have not been into the 130s yet. And I suspect that if Gasly hasn't already, he will be in the 129s at some point this qualifying session. He did a 130 flat in free practice, one of them. I'm not sure which one it was. I do actually feel like I worked a little bit on improving the car setup from last time we were here, and I do feel like the setup isn't bad. My concern is that there's the 29 that I suspected would be coming. My concern is I don't know if I've got a setup that's really chewing into the tyres, and maybe that's why my softs were giving out so badly in free practice. But we'll see. What have we done there? 30.5, so we'll see how that stacks up. Alright, so we can see here, not well. We've come in 12th so far behind Ricciardo, so we have to go again. And we'll look at the Red Bull cars as well. Gasly is trying to get through on the medium, but yeah, well, we're going to have to go again, and we need to get low 31s, low 30s, sorry. Alright, here we go. Can we do this? We need at least 3 tenths. If you imagine everyone's going to go faster, we probably need closer to half a second. Oh, we just understeered straight out wide. Let's hope that we can make that back later in the corner here. It's almost like a test of patience, that corner, just trying not to get on the gas too early. A little bit too narrow there. We are up a little bit, but nowhere near enough. If I just picked the booger there or not, I think I may have, so apologies if I did.
We've only got 2 laps.
Oh, my nose is so itchy. Oh, we didn't get a great exit. Oh, and the rear's come around.
Are you alright? Engine off, engine off.
So there we go, we stay 12th. I mean, it looks as, Gasly went onto the soft, so everybody else ahead of us is going to be on the soft. There's going to be an opportunity here for us to do something differently. They're all going to be on used softs. We're not going to be on that. It'll be us and Lando that are relatively competitive compared to those behind us. I've lost the qualifying rivalry to Ricciardo. I still don't know what to do in the race in terms of what tyres to start on. Yeah, anyway, let's get to this.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. A fantastic effort from Pierre Gasly yesterday puts him on pole, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Valtteri Bottas and Leclerc, Ricciardo, Tsunoda, Sainz and Lance Stroll, Norris, Oldtimer, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Giovinazzi, Russell, Christian Lundgaard and Nicholas Latifi, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, Mazepin and Guan Yu Zhou. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Alright, hoodie is off, it's business time. Alright, what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? The soft tyre is only going to go 5 laps. So... Alright, I'm thinking that not cast that up. The smart thing to do here is... What did I just do there? Oh, I don't know what I did. Anyway, I'm thinking the smart thing to do here is to start on the medium, go as long into the race as we can. We're going to want to put the soft tyre on, and it might be a case that that soft tyre can just be subbed in for a rain tyre, or even worst case scenario, if it does start to rain, I'd rather be on a soft tyre than a medium tyre that's getting worn, I think, because the soft tyre should be a little bit faster. I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not. I mean, I'm not particularly quick around here anyway, so we probably need to do something different. Yeah, we got 9th here last year. I'd almost sign up for that right now. Okay, so let's see what we can do here. It's, I mean, it depends when this weather comes in, if the weather comes in. But let's see what sort of a start we get on the medium tyre, so we're instantly at a disadvantage. But we've at least got a slightly better start than Lando. We've got Alpine up the inside of us, Lando on the outside, and, oh, Ferrari in the way. Maybe a bit of a barge out there on Lando Norris. Apologies for that. But, oh, very, very close. I just want to not lose a front wing at this point. Little bit of power oversteer. We've got another Alpine on the outside. It might even be the same one. We can see here 3 wide almost. And, well, everybody brakes nice and early. We go around the outside. Can we round up Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari? Yes, I think we can. We're going to have the inside line for this corner. And Carlos backs out of it. And on the medium tyre, we've moved ourselves up to 10th. We've jumped Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz, and if we can sort of just settle into a rhythm here now, even if this weather doesn't show up, well then we could be on a soft tyre at the end, and maybe that will work in our advantage. The one advantage we do have is the long straight with DRS that we're about to come onto here. Now, we saw in qualifying, the car's very taily coming onto that straight. The issue I had in qualifying is that I didn't back out of it. I would obviously just kept my foot down, and we all saw what happened. We pendulumed around, whereas in the race, obviously, I will be a little bit more cautious with that. But, yeah, we should have a decent opportunity to overtake at the end of that straight, all things being even. Now, we jump on board as we come around to finish the first lap, a little bit wide there.
You're in the top 10
And one
now.
thing
Keep it up.
I've got to do, as Jeff just let us know, in the top 10 is, despite, I mean, we're surrounded by cars on softs, they are naturally going to be faster. I've got to try not to overdrive and go as fast as them. We just need to limit the damage. That's all I've got to do. Again, a little bit of power oversteer. Maybe the setup's not quite right for those two corners, that one and of course the one onto the long back straight. We saw on lap 1 that we have an advantage there. That's another big power overslide, and that is going to give Sainz the inside line. It's a complete reversal of last lap. We are able to hang on the outside though. Can we keep him on the outside here? Yes, we can, and just run him out of road. Coming back for this corner, I've gone a little bit deep though, and he's back up the inside. And have I stuffed that up? Oh no, he cut him off. Very aggressive. And we come up to the chicane here again. And, well, let's see what sort of exit we get this time around. But yeah, like I was saying, I just need to limit the damage that we have on these medium tyres. Everybody else is going to have to go onto them, and they're going to be aged as well when they come in. Now, we're either going to have to make one less stop if everyone does have to come in for wets at the end, or if the rain doesn't show up, they're going to be on old worn mediums when we put our fresh softs on. So I think we're actually in a decent position here, provided that I can just sort of keep it on the track and just keep those cars in front of us as close as possible. DRS is enabled. Sainz on the outside. We block to the inside, and well, that all looked a little bit easy in the end, didn't it? But I just didn't have the grip he had, and in hindsight I think the outside line is almost better there because you can just carry more speed in. So we lose 10th, we go back to 11th, more power oversteer there. That might be something if we come back to China next year I'll need to work on. And again, just maybe a little bit too deep in there. And the one thing that was said that I don't know that got picked up when I was editing things together, Norris has a mechanical issue. So he should be not our concern, and hopefully he'll be able to keep those cars behind him, keep them behind him, and then we can just sort of deal with the 10 cars in front of us, and at a worst case scenario have an 11th place finish. But as I've said many times before, I don't finish 11th. I finish 10th or I don't finish, because 11th is just no use to anybody. Again, you can see it just really squirrely trying to get the power down on those long radius corners. And yeah, I mean they're cambered as well, so there's no reason why it should be doing that, other than maybe the rear of the car is a little bit too soft, wouldn't it? Perhaps the roll bars could do with some stiffening. But yeah, not a little bit early on the brakes there, and Sainz is just starting to drive away from us. I feel like I just need to settle down a little bit and get into a rhythm, which is always a little bit difficult to do for me anyway at the start of a race. And of course the issue that I also have is the heavier fuel load. I mean, I say it's heavier, I mean it is a little bit, but it's only a short race, so there's not that much fuel on board. But when I do the medium tyres in free practice, do I do mediums or hards? I can't remember which compound it was. I may have used both, but anyway, it's not with this much petrol on board, so the car just feels a little bit different. And then having that much less grip as well from the tyres than we would do on the soft. It just takes a few laps just to figure out exactly where my limit is. We can see the tyres are hanging in quite well, aren't they? 4 laps in and 7% or so worn, so if that sort of wear rate holds up, then these tyres will be good to go if we have to get to lap 13. You know, maybe we could make a stop on the last lap, and if it's raining, then we'll know. But you look at that sky right now, and there's not much sign of rain coming, is there? But on the button now, if we could dare dream of getting into DRS zone of Carlos Sainz, that might be something that would be useful for us. Now, something else to bear in mind here as well is that those that started on the worn softs from qualifying, their tyres are going to start to be going off about now. I wouldn't think anybody comes in lap 4, but certainly lap 5 or 6. As we go a little bit wide there. There's look at that 3 wide down the front straight. Hopefully they're going to hold each other up here. You imagine 3 wide into this corner is going to slow somebody up. And if that could just give us a chance to close the gap even further. This is all playing into our hands later on in the race. this is when they should be building a gap on us. And as I say, their tyres are going to be wearing, and look at how much we've caught up this lap. We're actually within DRS range now of Carlos Sainz, it looks like.
Battle in front is golden for us.
It really is. It's doing our race a massive, massive favour. Gasly's gone out front, but Hamilton back. Well, there's a little bit of a gap between Tsunoda, so it must be Tsunoda back that is in front of us.
That's right, guy. Eat up your soft tyres.
Yeah, we can see there must be Tsunoda. Yeah, Tsunoda back is the battle. So, I mean, P5 is not out of the question just now. I mean, look at how close we are. 5 laps into this race. We saw that the medium tyre isn't wearing too badly at all. And we might even get DRS this lap. We're a little bit too far back. We are going to get DRS. A little bit too far back to make a move on the Ferrari, I would think. But again, we can see 2% wear a lap on the outside. And Gasly is indeed in the pits this lap. Oh, we really did close quite a bit at the end there. So pit stops have begun.
There's been an incident on track, but officials aren't looking
What we don't want is a safety car, because that would undo pretty much everything that we're doing here. We wouldn't be able to go to the softs. But we've moved ourselves up to P5 now with pit stops. Now that's a sort of a fake P5, of course. And you would imagine that those that didn't stop that lap will be stopping this lap. The likes of Sainz and Bottas in front of us. You know, anybody that's sort of the second driver.
Okay, copy that.
So we'll keep our current strategy. I mean, it's a strategy. It doesn't really make sense to the engineers, I'm sure, but still looking at these that sky and wondering where this rain's going to come in the next 8 laps. But anyway, maybe it's a fast-moving front. But you can see, I feel like I'm getting into a little bit more of a rhythm here, despite the fact that Sainz isn't being held up by anybody. He's not driving away from us. He's pulled out a little bit, obviously, but he's not. He's certainly not driving away from us, which is that's not what we needed there. A little bit too ambitious on the gas, but still doing a green middle sector there, so that's good. We can still put in decent lap times, or sector times anyway. We've lost DRS though this lap, which is a little bit of a pain. But as I say, Sainz is almost certainly going to be stopping this lap, so it shouldn't make too much of a difference whether we had DRS there or not. Would have been nice, obviously, but let's see what's going to happen here. Yeah, you can see there's the train of cars pulling in, so this should put us to the front of the field. Tsunoda and Perez. Yep, so we are at P1 now, and we've just got to wait for this rain and or the pit stop for soft tyres. So we'll skip ahead now to lap 10, and you can see that Gasly on fresh mediums has closed us down. There's a bit of a gap behind him, and the sky is suddenly looking a little bit more like there might be some rain. We're an absolute sitting duck to Gasly though, as he gets DRS and we'll just drive past. As you can see, I actually turned the battery off. I'm not going to fight this too much. I'll get on the brakes early. What I don't want to do is run up the back of him and take us both out. We'll let him go now. Of course, if there is to be rain now, we're not going to win the race, because he would presumably come in and stop first, and we would sort of double stack in behind him. But we've got 9 seconds to Perez, and at this point, where if we're going to get a good or a podium finish, we need the rain, because if we stop, well, we're gonna drop. Presumably, we were 11th before pit stops. Everybody's been on.
At the moment, the car behind us is lapping faster than us by around 1 second per lap.
Yeah, everybody else has been on fresh mediums, or we're driving around on worn mediums. I struggle for pace anyway, which is why we qualified 12th. So if we don't get rain at this point, it's we're not going to score points anyway. So we really are just sort of hanging out for the rain, and hopefully we're going to get it before the end of the race. But there's only 3 laps to go, and the track's got to get wet enough for wet tyres as well. So yeah.
Okay, we don't think we're far away from some rain. I'll keep you updated as the conditions change.
So there we go. Jeff is saying the rain it's still coming. We're still expecting the rain. The question, as I say, is going to be how wet is it going to get and how quickly is it going to get there. We've got 3 laps to go at the end of this one. And as we speak, we still have a dry track and no rain. So we really need a bit of a deluge, don't we, to make this strategy work for us. Otherwise, well, we're not going to be scoring any points. You can see the tyre wear, it's still not bad, to be honest. 11, you know, we've almost done the entire race at this point. And yeah, we could easily have done the whole race without a stop, but of course, most people probably could. Go a little bit deep. It's really tricky to get that corner right, and to get it right consistently is not something I don't think I'll ever be able to do, to be honest, no matter how many times I play this game. But the gap to Perez, it's still 7, almost 8 seconds, so he's catching us at about a second a lap, which I think is what Jeff told us last time around. So if we didn't have to stop, you know, we'd be absolutely fine. 2 laps to go, a second a lap. He can make it 2 seconds a lap. He still wouldn't be able to do enough to pass us, although he might have DRS in that last lap. And is that a raindrop? We have raindrops with 2 laps to go at the end of this, or 2.5 laps to go.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
So...
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
I'm boxing this lap. I do wonder... Well, I do wonder if I should wait another lap. I do a little bit squirrely there on the exit. I do wonder if... Is it going to rain enough? Do we go and put the soft tyres on? You know, if we put the soft tyres on, maybe we could set a fastest lap on the last lap of the race, but we're going to stick to the intermediates because, well, my complete logic to this is that the cars, we were 11th before the pit stop. They've all been going around on fresher tyres, the same compound. Surely they've closed the gap a little. We've done a bit of a Hamilton there. Thankfully, it's not sand anymore. And in we come.
Alright, well, we're starting to get a little bit of rain. And, well, we're almost certainly going onto the wrong tyres here, but... Well, we need to hope it starts coming down in a hurry. We're kind of committed to this now. It's a gamble we've taken. Are we going to come out in the points? No, so we have nothing to lose. Let it rain, let it rain, let it rain.
So we can just about see Valtteri Bottas just flashing through a couple of the camera shots there. We're about 2.5 seconds back, and you can see we just don't have pace. We're now 3.5 seconds back. It is rain, but it's not enough. We just don't have the grip. Look at that. And... well, I think we're on the wrong tyre here. We've not got enough rain. We've not got it soon enough. And what was 2.5 seconds? What's Bottas now? 5 seconds. We've gambled, and we've gambled wrong. We've lost out. And to be honest, we've got Ocon behind us now, 4 seconds back. Both the Alpines actually. And I wouldn't like to guess what's going to happen there. But there we go. We're going to skip ahead now. It was the wrong tyre. So we're down in P13 now. You can see the rain has shown up on the last lap. It's a little bit too late for us, obviously. You can see we've got the Aston Martins behind us. That's how far we've fallen. Now it's fine. I think now it is just about Inters, but it's come a couple of laps too late for us.
Well, that's a disappointment, isn't it?
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Well, I'm thoroughly exhausted after the excitement of that race, but I'm sure it's nothing compared to our drivers here. They've worked hard to make it up there, and it's great to see them make their way out onto the podium.
Right, where's Jeff? Where's the guy that was forecasting this rain? Unbelievable. I mean, a little bit of spitting on the track. That's not rain. That's not a wet track. What? You've stuffed my race and possibly my championship. So there we go. That didn't work, did it? If I could have my time again, I probably would have stopped lap 10 and just put the soft tyres on. I think, actually, putting the way that I worked at mediums and going on to softs, we had such a good start and we were able to... I think it was Stroll, wasn't it, that was holding everybody up. That we were actually in a good position. If I'd maybe just played it maybe safe and just gone on to what everybody else had, but fresher versions of that, you know, would say Leclerc in 8th, because we came out just behind them all, didn't we? Would he have been catchable? And you'd say possibly yes. You know, you look at those best laps. We did a 32.7 on mediums, and Leclerc did a 32.9, and he had to go on softs. So maybe that would have been the sensible thing to do. Just bank some points there with an 8th place finish and live to fight another day. If we do go and look at the standings, well, we're down to 3rd now, 11 points behind Gasly. Sorry, 11 points behind Perez, 10 points behind Gasly. Still ahead of Ricciardo, but obviously he has wiped the floor with us that particular round. And the constructors, well, that was all Pierre Gasly. He keeps us 6 points ahead of Red Bull. McLaren is there, and Mercedes are off the mark now as well. So, yeah, I mean, looking at that, I'd say Red Bull look a much better team this season, and AlphaTauri, they might be a bit of a threat this year as well. But Mercedes, or maybe they just had an off race in, or Bottas down there in 10th, though. Anyway, disappointing. So yeah, if you did enjoy that, if you enjoy watching somebody struggle running around the midfield, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. We are all square in our rivalry with Daniel Ricciardo now. And, well, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? Next race, I believe, is it Imola? I think we're off to San Marino next. So that's one to look forward to. I did a little bit better there than I did here last year. I think last year that was also a wet race, wasn't it? So maybe that'll be a little bit more interesting. I don't know. I'm so disappointed. I should have just put the soft tyre on. Yeah, so yeah, thumbs up, subscribe, and all that stuff. And we've got a little bit of money to spend, so that's all to spend. We don't actually do it because we've got to pay for Gasly. I'm just going to go. See you later, guys.